Welcome to Spoilerin Time. This is the playground that goes along with the factory that is Cordkillers. Cordkillers, we're manufacturing all the information that you need to understand this crazy world of television and movies that we watch. And this is where we get to have fun talking about the things that we're watching. This week, we're talking about The Righteous Gemstones, Season 3, Episode 7, Secret Invasion, Season 1, Episode 5, and Justified, City Primeval, Episodes 1 and 2, because it is technically Season 1 of City Primeval, not a new season of the original series Justified. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
Tom, it can't be a playground unless we're going to plague around. And where shall diseasing begin?
I'm going to infect you with enthusiasm for The Righteous Gemstones, Season 3, Episode 7.
We're going straight for the good stuff.
I mean, I think this is my favorite Gemstones episode yet.
And what's wild is...
Remember, I got kind of bored by last week? This was the opposite. I was in from the beginning and loved it from beginning to end.
This episode, I spent the first 15 minutes thinking, oh, I'm really glad that for scheduling reasons, I'm watching this by myself and I'm not gathering the family to watch it because we're all watching them in real time. And by the end, I was like, I cannot wait to watch this again with the entire family. It begins with aesthetically so much darkness.
Right.
It's powerful and awful, and also aesthetically like great. Like if I was playing a BioShock 7 or something, I would expect those to be the faces of the characters that come. And they do so many wonderful little nods. Like when Keith begins to track Kelvin and he shows up in the weeds and they say, "Who is that, Chief?" And it's like, oh my God, that's on purpose. That's brilliant. It's amazing.
It's kitsch.
Yeah. And just the, I don't know how they did it, but when Jesse's son jumps in the Redeemer, and saves them, I knew it was coming. I'm like, well, of course he's going to get in the Redeemer. He's the driver. We've been building up to the moment where his driving skills are going to end up saving somebody. This is going to be it. I still almost had tears in my eyes. I was like, yes, this is his moment of triumph. And we haven't even had to spend a lot of time on him, just enough to show, like, don't forget, he's a driver. Don't forget, he's the reformed son. He's not the jerk son. We've seen the jerk son. I don't know. It was great. I love that bit too.
Did you notice that at this point, as he sits diligently, stalwart in the car, he's halfway through Eli Gemstone's
biography?
No,
I missed that. That's a nice little bit.
Yeah. No. I mean, this is more hinting that this is our true heir to the throne. Is it's going to skip the three jerkwads, and it's going to end up being Gideon's, all of it.
And it might be Jesse's call. I had imagined that scenario if it went down as Eli saying, "Jesse, you're just not the right person, but I know who is," because we've been showing him with Eli all the time, right?
Right.
But today you saw Jesse goes, "That's my son. I'm proud of him. He saved us." And we have seen flickers of self-awareness from these characters from time to time throughout this entire series. There might be a small point, and he'll immediately regret it later, where Jesse says, "Yeah, no, that's the right thing. He should be the one running the church."
There was them in an almost literal down the well situation at their lowest moments where the three siblings are confessing to each other what they really think of each other. And they're all agreeing that Jesse is the one who needs to die, but Jesse takes it as a compliment. He's like, I've been waiting.
I just always wanted you to think of me
that's
that
all
way.
I wanted was for you to all understand.
And it's real. Yeah.
And even Baby Billy showing up only to promote this TV show.
Yeah, we had a deal for Bible bunkers, right? I don't want that to fall apart. Yeah. And don't forget, they like, "Will you take care of my kids?" Well, we're actually kind of busy, but when we have time, when you have time,
if our schedules allow.
If our schedules allow, we
promise. If our schedules allow.
It it was great because it was so painful in the beginning and was so joyful by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the best show on television.
You always knew Carl. You always knew Carl was going to be the one. The big cousin, the big Montgomery cousin. You always kind of knew, like, he's the one who really just wants everybody to get along.
I still hold out hope for his brother because he seems conflicted.
He does, but he's less conflicted than Carl. Yeah.
But Carl is to use simple tropes, the big dopey, lovable, like I just want to be approved of person.
Yeah.
But it was great. Also, my wife almost stepped on a rattlesnake this past week. So that scene where he pulls out a rattlesnake and just shoves it in the face, I was like, glad I'm watching this by myself.
Alone. Yeah. And shout out to the music selection in this show. I don't think we praised
I'm not familiar with this song.
The Gatlin Brothers.
Yeah, I had to look it up.
Gatlin Brothers song was gold to use that song, like, because it's funny that they're singing the Gatlin Brothers as a hymn.
Yeah,
but it's also not funny because that song is very hymn-like and is appropriate. Like, the lyrics are appropriate to the situation.
Well, and also we wrapped up season 2 with a similar situation like that, where it was another popular song.
Big fan of the deep cuts there. I'd forgotten all about the Gatlin Brothers. Haven't thought about them in a minute. So it was nice to be reminded.
So Keith as indigenous tracker, how do we feel about that? I know that Keith among my daughters is the favorite character in this show.
Well, he's not indigenous.
No, he's not. He's not. But he's playing to that archetype of the tracker of the
tracker. Yeah. And I think they're playing right along the line of silliness and acceptability the way the show does.
Yeah, but Keith is pretty cool though, right?
I mean, yes, he's going to be the one who saves them, except they're already saved.
Yeah.
But Kelvin's going to appreciate it nonetheless, right?
Also, did you notice that Kelvin's hair looked less douchey and was more kind of traditionally coiffed?
Oh, no, I didn't catch that either.
As a way to make him slightly more relatable.
Yeah. I did notice that when she brought the voodoo dolls, that they are all, that Eli was like, oh, this is really nice. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Why did Eli get one? Well, because Kelvin is the only one whose love interest was not represented in the room. So his doll went to Eli.
Yeah. So where do we think everything ends up from here?
Good question. Where would you go with this? Because you've now had the false happy ending of they've been saved. So immediately out of the gate, something goes wrong on the way back, or Pete leads the army to Eli's compound somehow. I don't know. I don't know where the conflict comes from next.
Which unfortunately brings up the fairly obvious
3 episodes left, right?
There is a fairly obvious whoopsie doodle of, like, they all know who kidnapped the kids. Why don't they just call the cops and have them?
They did. They called the cops.
Well, they saved the kids at the end, so that they all squished into the car, and Kristen Johnson drove them all home.
Yeah.
But they still
it just seems like you would call the feds and have the place shut down.
Not if you're going to do. Now we're going to do frontier justice on them.
Yeah.
And like they know where the compound is now.
Let's play that out, because the cops are involved already. The kids have now been saved. We know who did it. There's going to be no question about that. Would Eli say, I don't want to make it any worse, just leave him be? No, it doesn't feel like the feds would allow that. They'd be like, yeah, I'm sorry if you don't want to make it worse, but it's a militia, and
But
now we have a reason to shut it down.
This is a literal kidnapping and a ransom, and
It's an
I'm
abduction, Brian. Kidnapping is for children.
Okay. All right. Yes, indeed.
Maybe is it that the feds want to go shut down Pete and Eli steps in to stop them?
I would suspect. I don't think it's too early. Next episode is the last one, right?
That's what I was asking. Do we have two? We have one or three?
I believe we have three more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we have a 3-episode arc coming.
We have time, but
we have two more episodes. We have
Okay.
two more.
I suspect.
Oh, just two. Okay.
I suspect that the big surprise at the end of this season is Eli hands the throne to Gideon directly.
Sure. That's coming. That feels like it's coming.
Yeah.
And then, are we getting both of them next week?
That's a good question. It certainly looks like that might be the case.
Yeah, that's what my scheduling app is telling me.
No, I see them on two different dates on Wikipedia.
Oh, okay.
July 30th and August 6th.
And August 6th. Okay. So we're going to play them out over the next couple of weeks. And it's going to be a redemption arc for Pete. That would be in character with the Righteous Gemstones.
Who was the compound going to blow up? We know that they're like a militia, but do we know who their target is?
They were very clear. It's the liberals.
It's a town with
A bunch of liberals.
Water.
They wanted to poison the water of a bunch of liberals.
Some town whose water isn't. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, pretty much anybody. They're just, just in case. Yeah.
Causes some trouble.
Yeah. I don't know. Where do you think it's going, Brian?
I think there'll be a face-off, and I think all three primary gemstone children will be cowed. I think that this season ends with a surprise handing the mantle, possibly, let me just throw this out there, possibly with the death of Eli Gemstone.
Ooh, okay.
He hands it to Gideon. And then now all three of the gemstone children still get to be present and awful and bickering, but it's about how Gideon should be running the church in season 4.
All right. Well, there you go. That is The Righteous Gemstones, season 3, episode 7. And now turn in your hymnals to page 5 of season 1 of Secret Invasion, Harvest.
AKA, how can we make a super scroll without any of the trappings of the Fantastic Four, despite the fact that the Fantastic Four is what the Super Scroll is made of.
But we're saving Super Scrolls for the Fantastic Four movie, so we can't bring any Fantastic Four people in until at least episode 6, Brian.
So let us, in our hymnals, go back to previously on, where instead of Mr. Fantastic powers, it's DNA from Groot. Instead of heat powers from Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch, there's somebody called Cryo Guy or whatever it is they call it in there.
Are you really doing this?
What? I'm just saying.
You're just saying what? That the book was better?
I'm saying I can't unread the book. I can't unknow the canon. I understand they're working within their abilities. However, their abilities now include the entire franchise to the Fantastic Four. So there's no reason for this nonsense. This is dog baubles.
I don't know about any of that because I never read any of those. But what I do know is that it was pretty weak sauce for me for Nick Fury to be like, oh, why am I not calling the Avengers? Well, we can't keep relying on superheroes.
I thought that was it. Why don't the scroll pretend to be any superhero? Right? Like I feel like that would be a thing that they would do at this point, right? Because they can't call the Avengers because this is a secret. Like you can't make this. This is a conspiracy thing. I get that, but couldn't you call
why
someone?
can't you call the Avengers to save the world from certain doom again when that's the entire reason they exist?
I think he said sometimes it's personal. Hold on. I need to put on my superpower abilities. Step 1, a trench coat. Step 2, my magical
Hey, that's pretty good.
eye patch.
Okay.
Step 3, a gun. I'm set.
Okay, so if Nick Fury said, Bryce, I would love to call the Avengers, but this conspiracy has gone so far and Skrulls could impersonate anyone and I might call the wrong person, I would be like, well, you might as well try because they already know you know. But what he said, and I have the quote, we can't keep depending on these superheroes to swoop in and save our asses. None of them have lived the life I have. None of them can defend the world the way I can. The only power I have was planted between my ears by a single mother and wrapped around my finger by a woman who's far greater than I could ever hope to be.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, I missed that one. Okay. I liked you know what? I will say I liked the first half of this episode. I thought that the whole thing between him and his wife, his Skrull wife, was kind of nice.
Sure.
I thought it was really, really funny that the show starts this episode with like, here's this really poignant poem, and it's not very long, but it's just the right thing. And they read it, and it's kind of sweet. And then just the dumbest conversation happens again. And then just so you didn't miss any of the subtext, they like make a point to like really hammer home that they're gonna reread the poem. Because despite the fact that it's great because it's concise and really well thought out, you have to treat your audience like they're blind or like they don't know what they can't put two and two together. Like you could,
like their eyes were scratched by a flurkin.
Just I don't know. Did that trip for anyone else? Just this like hanging their hat on this literary thing and completely going the opposite direction with it.
Bryce. Yeah. I do not want to begin to count the number of ways this series has disappointed me.
I feel like you're writing this with a quill. This is dearest Bryce,
my dearest Kevin Feige.
Actually, I'm aping a line from a Lonesome Dove.
Where xylophone should have made
came across that way. Yeah. Okay, fair.
I thought the relationship stuff was kind of nice, but then
I actually dig the relationships too. I'm glad you reminded me of that because I had forgotten I liked it till you said that.
But then we get to the second half where it's okay. I have to say it out loud because I had to go back and rewatch it like 3 times to realize what was happening. The president was going to meet the Russians, and then the Skrulls pretended to be the Russians or had Russian stuff, and then tried to blow up the president. And I guess I had missed. I don't know. At some point, there was a rocket being launched. I had to go back a couple of times just to pay attention.
And then we need to get Groot's DNA from a shed in Finland.
And also like multiple other made-up superheroes that we've never seen that are analogs for other characters from the Fantastic Four.
Which, without having read any of the source material, Brian, if in fact they're doing a Fantastic Four movie, wouldn't you just say it's from the Fantastic Four and just drop that in there? Like
that certainly would be something I was hoping for earlier today, because that would be a great way to introduce, because canonically the Super Skrull has 4 abilities. He can become a rocky person. He can become invisible. He can stretch really far.
Are they going to do it
burst into flames?
Are they going to do it the other direction?
I think they're going to do dumb analogs for other things and then act like we should all be surprised.
Are they going to do the Fantastic Four get created from the Super Skrull?
They can't from what they've given us so far, because the Groot stuff is clearly an analog to the Mr. Fantastic stuff.
No, but once the Super Skrull is made, He makes the radiation to make people.
Oh, wait. Oh, doggone it. We ran the simulation on opposite day. So instead of cold powers, you have hot powers. Instead
that's fairly comic book. I mean, you could do that. You could get away with that.
You could. You could.
You want us to be War and Peace. It's Marvel, Brian. It's Marvel.
Look, I have already recused myself from being able to judge this fairly.
Okay.
And all I will say, Brian, is that even if you hadn't, I think I agree with you.
It's still a mess.
All right. We only got one more episode of that, but that is Secret Invasion, Season 1, Episode 5. Let's talk Justified City Primeval. 2 episodes. They gave us the first 2 episodes of this revival. It's not a new season of Justified. It's a revival with the character of Raylan. We have a mention of Harlan. We have his daughter who's older now, and he is on loan to Detroit. Basically, he got called up to Detroit because he ran into some bad guys at the beginning of episode 1, and they were on trial in Detroit. And then while he's in Detroit, he gets sucked into a manhunt for this other guy, and now he has to stay there. And he really just wants to head back with his daughter, who missed the ability to join the private thing that she was supposed to go to. What was it? It was like, it wasn't rehab, but it was like,
oh, no. Like he was, she is a troublesome youth.
Yeah. And there was some like,
wasn't it a
rehabilitation
camp? I guess I wasn't paying attention, but I thought
it was one of those get disciplined camps.
Yeah. Boot camp kind of thing.
Those kidnap you in the middle of the night camps. And then
Well, I mean,
he was dropping
a softer
Well, no, I
version
think
of
he
that,
just dropped her off and registered. I don't think it was quite that.
I'm new to this.
In fact, the whole point was that because he tried to drop her off and register and failed, the case got thrown out of court because he didn't go immediately to jail like he said he was.
Also because he was late, they refused him entry. They said
he was late to the camp, so they're like, sorry, you got to be here on time, and then that screwed up his case too.
Yes.
And now he's hunting Clement Manzel.
Disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 15-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
There are parts of this that are going to sing well to me that will not sing well to other people. Having said all of that, it's hard for me to not want to see more Raylan Givens. It's hard for me to not appreciate all this stuff. I didn't mind hearing whoever the guy is that voices the president of the United States in Rick and Morty.
The judge.
Yep. I'm here for all of this. I'm here for all of this, especially because the bad guy is the same bad guy from Logan, who was the same good guy from Narcos season 1. That dude is good.
Guy. Yeah.
The show is good. I'm in. I will not mistake it for being anything other than what it is. It's
what is it?
It's pulp, and I love it, and I'm here for it.
So here's my full evaluation and how I described my feelings to Bryce earlier today. Yes, it kind of bothered me that the whole reason Raylan ends up having to stay is because he unnecessarily got mad at the judge. That didn't seem real, but we needed a reason to keep him around. It also seemed pretty flimsy that Clement Manzel kills the judge because he got distracted from the other guy they were trying to rob and just decided to kill him. That seemed a little flimsy. Those 2 points are a little flimsy. But Raylan, you get Raylan walking around Raylaning, and it's well shot, it's well acted. The rest of it is pretty solid, if predictable pulp, like you say. So to me, Raylan is the Nutella, even if Justified City Primeval might be a bit of a saltine. I'll eat the Nutella because it's delicious. I don't care if it's on a saltine.
Bryce.
Granted, I did not give this 100% attention. I threw this on and then did some other stuff.
Which, by the way, you're among friends. I think at different moments, all three of us have admitted that we only mostly watched the thing.
Yeah.
It's happened. It happens to everybody, Bryce.
It's fine. There was a lot I just didn't get. I hadn't seen the Justified series before, so I don't really know the characters or what we're getting into. I was talking in our Discord server earlier that I got this and Deadwood confused, and so I was really shocked when I saw a cell phone and the fact that this took place.
Wait, the car didn't shock
that
you?
would be great. Wait, which, by the way, he does play the same character in all of the
Timothy
shows.
Olyphant.
So,
Yeah.
but the idea of him time traveling from Deadwood into Detroit is pretty dope. In fact,
Wait a minute,
I want to
there are
fantasize
cars
that's
in the
canon.
first scene.
Well, look. But then I couldn't tell. Well, maybe it was the 80s. Maybe it was I don't know. I didn't know. And then I saw an
Deadwood,
iPhone.
the 80s.
Who knows?
But Deadwood is the 1880s.
I didn't watch Justified, so I didn't know either.
They were
I
excited
thought-
about a train coming to town.
That's weird. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, this was pulpy is a good word for this because a lot of really stupid stuff seems to happen and no one seems to care.
I'm so okay with all of it. By the way, there's like super soft music and soft language. I watched the first episode with one of my daughters, and she was like, "Really, Dad?" And I said, my one explanation was, this is made for dads. And, in fact, it was the moment that she was looking and laughing at Court at a keyboard cat video. And Penny was screaming like, why would anybody be laughing at a keyboard cat video? It's not even like got a meta twist to it. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
this show is made for dads.
I saw that and I was like, in my own mind, I'm going to substitute any TikTok video because
Right.
I'll buy that. Whereas Keyboard Cat, definitely, no, that was lazy. But again, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Also, Tom, did you know that your wife was the first person to introduce me to Keyboard Cat and explain the meme in
No,
2008?
I did not.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was at Revision 3 Studios. she was like, oh, no. Something bad happens. And then this cat does this thing.
That is amazing. I had no idea. Wow. I feel closer to you than I already was. That's awesome. Yeah, this is a vehicle for watching Timothy Olyphant. That's really all it is. Because he just wanders around and Raylan's, and I'm here like you, Brian. I'm here for it. Like just let Raylan talk. That's all I care about.
Well,
And that's what they're doing.
I want to
And
give
Bryce,
credit.
to your point, the only characters from Justified are Raylan and his daughter. And his daughter was just like an off-screen character most of the time in Justified. It was not an essential part of the plot.
Oh, wow. I thought at least the bad guy, I guess because they really just kind of have him going in media res, I thought maybe like, oh, am I supposed to know him? But
No.
Okay.
It's just Raylan hates all bad guys. Here's the latest.
Boyd Holbrook is a name I want to memorize. Boyd Holbrook. He was great in the first season of Narcos. He was great in Logan. He's great in this, and I'm very happy for all of his success.
Well done. Yeah. He is a great villain because and they've written him well too, but he does a great job of being that kind of villain who's like, you could believe I'm not a villain, even though you know I am, which makes it even more evil. Any other thoughts on Justified City Primeval?
I mean, I'm slightly more excited to watch the rest of this than any random Miami Vice. I'm very into this.
That's a really I actually had forgotten about that, but that first episode I was like, oh yeah, this is Miami Vice 2023.
Right?
Because he's in Miami, right?
Well, and boy, I just hope they keep reminding us that this is how they do it in Detroit.
Yeah.
And now it's different.
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah,
then
that guy,
I hope
right?
Raylan reminds them that
that
that's
will-
how they do it in Kentucky.
That was another thing they started to resolve a little bit by the end of episode 2, but they make a big deal of introducing him to his partner, right? Here's your Detroit partner. Now you're going to have to work with him. And you're like, okay, we're setting up the uneasy partnership of the Florida rural guy and the inner city guy. And then you barely see them interact through all the rest of episode 1 and most of episode 2 until they go to the bar to see Sweetie. And it's like, okay, finally we're seeing them work as a team a little more.
Well, and even then, I kind of like the casual relationship between, I don't know, this three-way interaction of like, here we go again between the lawyer, the criminal, the whoever's, whatever law.
How many episodes before he kisses the lawyer?
2 more.
2? You're going to go 2?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say they hold off. I'm going to say 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll be next episode.
All right, there we go. We've all laid out our chances. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I wasn't sure how this would go. And so I'm glad we're all at least having some kind of
notice that
Raylan-fueled good time.
There was some song that it took me a second to realize, oh, they're playing a cover of the song. And then it made my head go into the space of like licensing rights and how it's cheaper to license a cover of a song than the...
Oh my gosh, I was at this is totally unrelated to Justified. I was in a grocery store yesterday where they were doing nothing but weird covers. And I was like, does it really save them that much money? My gosh, I guess it does.
Oh, dude, I love weird covers of everything.
Yeah, no, they were I almost wanted to get the playlist from them. Well, there you go. That is Justified City Primeval. Thanks everybody for supporting us. Patreon.com/Cordkillers. We are definitely in the midst of changing some things around, and we know change can be scary. So keep listening to After Talk. We're going to talk you through all the reasons we will change things. We might back off from changing things. Keep the communication lines open. Cordkillers@gmail.com. Next week on Spoilerin Time, Righteous Gemstones, Season 3, Episode 8. Secret Invasion, the finale, Season 1, Episode 6. And Justified City Primeval, Season 1, Episode 3. Until then, spoil yourselves. You deserve it.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.